Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, another special tag team review. Yes! And today we're very excited to check out Horrible Hex from Stone Circle Games. It's for 1 to 3 players, ages 10 plus. It'll take you about 15 to 20 minutes to play. And in Horrible Hex, you are going to be moving around hexes, trying to complete missions in this abstract strategy game. And the hexes actually haunted. They're horrible.
Oh, are they?
I don't know. Themeless, abstract, is it good though? Let's open it up and we'll tell you. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're getting inside of Horrible Hex. First and foremost, we got our handy dandy rule booklet. It is very, very small. It's really about just one page. And honestly, this is just the single player, 3-player variants. These are different variants. This is all you're going to need right here. It's pretty well done. It'll be up and running in no time at all. This is more like a player aid on the back, which is kind of useful. So in Horrible Hex, what you're going to be trying to do is you're going to be trying to manipulate these hexes on your turn, and then you're going to be trying to complete goal cards that will be in front of you. These gold cards are going to have 4 different hexes in a particular position with particular colors in different ways. So we'll go over the components, and we'll get into the gameplay, and you'll understand exactly what is going on here. So first component-wise, each player is going to have a handy-dandy little cheat chart in front of you. As you can see, the text is very, very tiny, but it's going to tell you the 4 different ways that the hexes can move. And there are going to be 3 kinds of hexes that you'll be manipulating and moving around the board. You're going to have gray hexes, you're going to have red hexes, and then you're going to be having the elusive, let's see if I can find one, wild hexes, which will have both gray and red. And those are all you're going to have. But on the outside of these hexes are going to be a couple different symbols that you will see. We'll go over the symbols real quick. So first, you're just going to have a little arrow right there, which means that is a direction that can move. So for instance, on your turn, you might decide to look at this arrow right here and say, you know what, I'm just going to bloop, move this one right here. And that would be the end of your movement phase on your turn. At which point you would then draw another hex and play it somewhere else. And this is actually a perfect example. So now it would be this person's turn right here. And they're hoping to complete one of these goals. But right now I'm just trying to show you the movement. So next you have what is called the jump ability, which is this guy right here. And you can see it a little bit clearer right there. And this just means that you're going to be able to jump over any number of hexes. So there's 1 hex right here, but if there were 6, you'd be able to jump over all 6. Now this is a good time to talk about the rules of the game, because when you move a hex, you have to make sure that everything is still connected. So for instance, if I wanted to move this gray hex over here for some peculiar reason, I could not, because that would mean that it's not complete or connected. Now let's go back to the jump. So this jump would go bloop right there. That'd be the end of my movement phase. And this is kind of interesting because both players are going to see if their goal card has been completed. So you can score even when it's not your turn, which makes this interesting little cat and mouse because you have to be on the lookout for both you scoring, but then at the same time that your opponent is not going to score because you don't want to make it so they can score. Also, you cannot score any of your cards unless you move one of your cards, and that will come into play big time, especially with how you place the tiles. Because, for instance, let's just say I don't want, well, that's a terrible example. Let's just say I don't want this tile to move. I would say, all right, the only way this tile is going to be able to move is if this I put this on an edge or this on an edge. So I could put, let's see, this one right here, and now I know that it's not going to be able to be moved because nothing here, nothing there, and we're good. And you're like, well, what's that symbol? I don't know what that symbol is. So we'll talk about that symbol real quick. We'll go to the bottom. That is the swap symbol, and it's very simple. How it works is let's say it's set up like this. You would just swap it. So you'd say, all right, this goes here, that goes there. I have swapped. Let's see if we have completed anything. No, but we are pretty close to this one right here. So we got 2 grays and a blue right there. So now we draw another tile, and we can get to the last symbol, which, let's see if I can set it up just right. We'll put it right there. So we'll scoot all this up a little bit so you can see how it works. So the last symbol that you can do is that you can push things. And how the push is going to work is you're going to push all of the hexes in one particular direction. So for this circumstance, we could either push all these guys over here, all this down here, and we will go ahead and just say, you know what, I'm going to do this. So we push it, which means this one goes down to here, this stays right there below it, and that would be the end of our turn. So you're saying, what happens when you finally do complete a goal card? Well, that's a good question, because I was able to successfully complete my goal card. See, I have gray, gray, and then 2 red bunny ears going on right there. So that one has been completed. So that card would get scored. All of the hexes on the board are going to go away. You're going to get a new card. 3 of them are going to go face up, just like when we started the game. So bloop, bloop, bloop. And then you're going to put out another hex where you want to put it, and then you will rinse, wash, and repeat. You are going to go until someone has completed 3 goal cards, at which point that person will be the winner of Horrible Hexes. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alrighty then, Horrible Hex from Stone Circle Games. What are our final thoughts? Let's go to the pros. Let's go over the cons. First on the con side, obvious cons here. 1 to 3 players, very restricted player count. Also, it is an abstract game. You know, no real theme to speak of, not much artwork. So if you're big into theme, big into artwork, then you're probably not much of an abstract gamer anyway. But wanted to mention that. Now, you also have a con too with the graphic design.
Yeah, the print. Yeah, where's the magnifying glass that comes with the game?
I think that was a Kickstarter stretch goal. The print is incredibly tiny, and it's also in the rule booklet. It's exceedingly tiny, and it just feels like, hey, maybe you shrink this down a little bit, or maybe get rid of this. But the text, and then look right here, like there's room right here where you could have put bigger words. Yeah, it is a little bit of a nuisance, but it's a nitpick. Because the rule booklet is pretty well done. It'll have you up and running in no time at all. But that's more on the pros, so let's stick to the cons. Focus, dear, focus. 2-player aid cards. You know, it is a 3-player game. It's billed as 1 to 3 players, so 3-player aid cards would have been nice, even though, honestly, after about 3 turns, you're not going to use this anyway. No. I mean, it's very simple in that aspect. I feel like the 1 and 3 player version of the game definitely were strapped on. It feels like this was designed from the ground up as a 2-player game. 3 players is not bad. 1 players is not bad. Even though I will say, if you're a solo gamer, this one doesn't offer. It's not. It's going to be very samey, and I'm going to mention this as another con, where you're just going to be trying to beat your high score each time. It's not a bad solo game, but it's not a solo game I would grab necessarily. But if you're trying to learn the game before you teach it to someone, it's definitely not a bad solo game in that aspect. But I did have one more point there, which was sameness. This game, you're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. There's no real branching paths. Once somebody completes a goal card, you just wipe everything out and you start all over, which is going to be a turn-off to some people. But moving on to the pro side, what's your thoughts on Horrible Hexes on the pro side?
I like it.
Yeah.
Like you said, the rules they're good rules.
Yeah, it's a very solid, enjoyable abstract game. If you like abstract games, I can definitely recommend this to you if you routinely hit 2 players. It's just as simple as that. What do I like about the game? Easy to learn, easy to teach. It's compact, it's portable. Component-wise, components are nice. These are thick, sturdy tiles. The cards, perfectly serviceable little cards. They do their job. There's not really too much I can knock on this game. Is it going to set the world on fire? No. And we're also not the crowd for this, I don't think. Like, we have 300 plus games at our house, and I can't think of more than 4 or 5 abstract games. You know, we just don't tend to play too many abstract games. But that being said, this one was fun. A little bit brain burny, especially once you get more hexes on the board and you're trying not to set someone else up, because it really does matter the way you position it. What were you going to say?
Listen, I like this game because it's very visual.
Yeah.
If you're a very visual person like I am, you will like this game.
Yeah,
Probably a lot.
I enjoyed it too, because you can't just look at the tiles on the board. You have to look at all the symbols on the tile to see, all right. And even when you place tiles, it's
Are they
big.
going to be able to move it?
Yes, like, okay, I can set this tile just in the right position where I know she's not going to be able to move it next turn, which means she's not going to be able to complete this goal. Yeah, so overall, I think we're both recommending it if you like abstract games. If you're not the biggest abstract gamer, I definitely say this is a try before you buy kind of thing. But very solid game. That's Horrible Hex from Stone Circle Games. One that we can recommend, and I think we're probably going to keep around. I definitely think when our son gets older, this will be an easy one to teach him, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, family game, check. 2-player game, check. Game night game, if you have a smaller player count, if you're waiting for somebody to show up, maybe. So that is Horrible Hex, Stone Circle Games. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know, how do you think Stonehenge came about?
Aliens.
Aliens? Really?
Duh.
I was thinking it was Mexicans.
Mexicans.
And I think they just wanted to screw with people.
Mexicans.
It's a giant running joke in Mexico City. I'm sure that there's like some palace in Mexico City.
Mexicans.
Yes,
There
it's a giant.
Before they were Mexicans.
Doesn't matter. They just wanted to mess with the rest of the world, and it's the best joke. Like if you say Stonehenge in front
That
of.
would be awesome.
Yeah, okay. But what do you think, Stonehenge? How did it happen? I don't know. She thinks aliens, I think Mexicans. Both of them sound completely fantastical. Let me know in the comments below your fantastical answer. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.